Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pharm Pretty. Today we are going to see about nervous systems in HJP, a revised question paper for everyone in Form D. So first let us see what is nervous system. So we know that nervous system is the master controlling system of our body. So it is controlling all over the parts of the body and each and every visceral organs, that is digestive system. More of the organs is protected by nervous system. So next we are going to see about the classification of nervous system. So on basis of structural, nervous system is divided into two types, that is SNS and PNS. So CNS is the central nervous system and PNS is the peripheral nervous system. So CNS is further divided into two and PNS further divided into three. So what are they? So CNS is divided into two, that is brain and spinal cord, and PNS is divided into SNS, ANS and ENS. So ANS is further divided into sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. So in this video I have completely explained about brain and spinal cord, and in further video we will learn about the PNS, that is peripheral nervous system. So brain and spinal cord is explained clearly and detailedly. So first, what is a CNS? So we know that CNS is a central nervous system. So central nervous system is this mainly controlling our body. So we know that CNS is mainly consists of brain and spinal cord. So brain is enclosed with cranium and spinal cord is enclosed in vertebral column. So next we can learn what is brain. So brain is the major organ of the central nervous system, and the weight of a human adult is brain is 1.3 kg. So while watching a movie or something else, you may think that brain color is something as white and fleshy with bloods, right? So while seeing through the blood, you can only see it blood and it is like white, so it is having some bloodshed, but that's not a fact. So brain is a spongy mass which is having the yellowish white fluid inside, and outside it has a tan gray color. So while taking a real skeletal system on the skull, you can see the color of the brain at the inside of the skeletal system. So next is the protective structure of brain and spinal cord. So what do you think the protective structure of brain and spinal cord will be? Okay, let me give a guess. You all have thought about the skull right now. So that's not only a protective structure. The skull has some layers inside it. So that is what protecting it. What are the layers in skull? That is meninges, CFS, that is cerebral spinal fluid, and then last blood-brain barrier. So it is not in spinal cord, only in brain. So the cerebrospinal fluid is explained in the spinal cord section. So we can learn that in spinal cord. First of all, meninges. So in this picture, you can clearly see that meninges, right? There are three meninges, that is pi matter, arachnoid matter, and dura matter. So meninges is the basic protective layers which is protecting the brain. So it is protected by two meninges, that is cranial meninges and spinal meninges. Cranial meninges is present in the brain and spinal meninges is present in the spinal cord. So I already told there are three structures, that they are outer dura mater, middle arachnoid mater, and inner pi mater. In this picture you can clearly see that the pi mater is the innermost layer, right? And outer that you can see arachnoid mater, and outer that you can see dura mater. So next is we can learn about dura mater. So as we know, dura mater is the outer covering, so it should be very dense and fibrous, right? It should be very strong. The most strongest thing is the dense fibrous tissue. So it is covered by dense fibrous tissue. There are two types of meninges, that is periosteal dura mater and meningeal dura mater. So this the outer layer is the just protective layer, right? So this is just present just inside of the skull, When you take a skull, just observe inside of the skull. You can see a cracky layer on the skull, right? That's what the dura mater is. So it is a protective layer of the brain, and also dura mater forms the separate and various parts of the body. So brain, they are falx cerebelli, and the tendenari cerebelli. The falx cerebelli is in the name itself, you can understand, cerebelli. So it separates the two cerebral hemisphere. Then falx cerebelli is the separates the cerebellum's two hemisphere. And then at last it's just separate cerebellum and cerebral. So this is what the basic thing the dura mater is doing. And next is the fibrous tissue, that is the arachnomater. So arachnomater is the basic thing, that is the second layer, middle layer too. So it is a fibrous tissue layer, and it is between the dura and pimeter. Very simple, right? And the space between the duramater and arachnomater, just see the name, dura and arachno space. So subdural space, just add the just subline, so subdural space, so which contain a small amount of cerebral fluid in it. And then there is a space between the arachnomater and pimeter, that is the subarachnoid space, which contains the cerebrospinal fluid, which we will learn in the spinal cord. And next is the pimeter. So pimeter is the last and innermost layer. So it is a delicate layer covering, and it covers the brain and spinal cord. In this picture you can clearly see the spinal cord is there, right? It is mentioned, right? Cord, and there is nerves. So it is protecting the spinal cord and brain. So it is connected by very minute nerve blood vessels. So as the nerves are present there, as soon as you can understand that there should be a blood vessels, right? So this blood vessels is just connected to the blood brain barrier. That is what our next topic. So blood brain barrier, in this picture you can clearly see that there was a capillary, right? So this capillary is the main thing, that is the blood brain barrier. This is present in this capillary, which is surrounded by a intracellular fluid junction, right? That's what the blood brain barrier. So then, if any substance want to enter into the brain, first it should be have to meet the security, that is blood-brain barrier. So as you enter to school or colleges, there will be a security standing outside, right? Or you are going to work or anywhere else, there will be a security. The same way, the main important part that is seen as brain is main the mastering part of the whole body. So it is connected by this blood-brain barrier, which is the main security for that. So if any substance like harmful toxics want to enter into it, it is not permitted, because it should first get the security sign, then only it can enter into this. So all the substance cannot enter to the body, and only this substances like water soluble substances and lipid soluble substances, these can only enter into this. Also some substances that cross slowly into the blood brain barrier, that is creatinine, urea and most ions. So this you may have learned in your biochemistry, right? So that's what the main important things which is need for our brain. So this water soluble substance may be glucose that gives energy, right? So you can see a man was running and he was very tired. So he usually drink a glucose or take a glucose tablet, right? Then you get more energy and run. This is because glucose is the very short and very fastest material to boost up our body. So water soluble substances, that is glucose, is a very important thing for this active transport. Then is lipid soluble substances. So as you know, if there is no oxygen in your body, will your brain will survive? The first organ that die without oxygen is your brain. So the main important thing is oxygen, and there will be exchange of carbon dioxide, that is used oxygen is getting out of the body through this brain, through this blood brain barrier. And the substance like creatine, urea, these are the things that are very important to your body. This urea is just converted to ammonia, that is a harmless thing, that's only used in our body. And sodium is a very important ion that gives energy to our body for walking or anything else. So if you have learned the glycolysis or glycogenolysis in a biochemistry, I'm not going to biochemistry, so if you have learned that, you can easily understand these things. And the substance which cannot cross the blood brain barrier or ammonia acids and antibiotics, some of the antibiotic drugs like that is used for your bodies only, that's what not entering to your brain. Some may think that may enter to your brain, right? That's not the fact. Is when you have your antibiotics, that will directly attack the antibodies of your body, so not in your brain. So brain also has some antibody, but it does not affect that. So these are the things or cannot enter into the blood brain barrier. So let me revise once again. Blood brain barrier is the blood capillary that is surrounded by a tight junction of intercellular fluids. So this blood brain barrier is a very important security or a passageway for the basic materials or nutrition to the brain. The substance which cannot or can enter into the blood brain barrier or water soluble, lipid solubles, and which can slowly pass to the blood brain barrier are creatine, urea, and most of the ions. And some of the things that cannot cross to the blood brain barrier or amino acids, antibiotics, and water soluble drugs. So next we can see the what are the functions of blood brain barrier. So blood-brain barrier which protects the brain from bacterial infections and also helps to prevent the passageway of pathogens, harmful toxics, which we have learned already, right? In the general introductions that you can write here. So just remember functions of all the parts of your body is very important. It's me repeatedly asked in most of the questions paper. So pharm student, be careful that functions are very important. They are repeatedly asking functions in your exam for 5 marks. So remember the basic general property is the function of the part. So just take this blood-brain barrier. So from the name itself, you can know that it's a barrier between the blood and brain, right? So as soon as you can get some idea, you should think about that. So it to just protect from bacterial infections, by entry of harmful toxics and pathogens, right? So and also it helps in the normal functioning of brain. So the basic functioning of brain is controlled by this blood-brain barrier, and also it helps from the protects the brain from the fluid which disturbs our body like antibodies, water soluble ions, some of the ions that is not needed, chloride or not chloride, some of the unwanted things that is not needed to our brain, it's not entering to the brain through this part. If any accidents or any of the injuries what happened to a blood brain barrier, it causes brain tumor, or you can say some of them have some of the memory loss, right? Some brain related disorders like mental disorders, so these can also cause. So some of the physical barriers also provided by this blood brain barrier. So next we can see about the parts of brain. So what are the parts of the brain is? So this is what the important question, just mark it out. So if you have taken the notes from the later video, you click the icon, then you can see the notes for this chapter. So if you have got that notes, just mark it this as a important because there are more than 10 more university questions or your any university, they are repeatedly asking this because this is helps in your hospital duty times. So just learn this very carefully. So what are the parts of brain? So in this, cerebellum, cerebrum, cerebellum, and diencephalon is further divided into thalamus, hypothalamus, and epithalamus. And then brain stem is further divided into midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So this you will learn in the medulla oblongata. You will learn in the cranial nerves too. So just remember, these parts are very important and you should know where these parts are. So just listen to the picture. The most presented part of the brain is the cerebrum. And then you can see a minute structure which is below the pineal gland is the cerebellum, and some of the parts like thalamus, hypothalamus are just inside the cerebellum or inner surfaces of the cerebellum. So this you should just remember because it is very important for your exam. So first let us learn about the cerebellum. So cerebellum is the most largest part covering the brain, so it's a seat of intelligence. As I already told, it's most largely covered in the brain. It is located in the upper portion of the brain. The upper portion of the brain is covered by cerebellum, and then it is present in the portion middle to the cranial fossa. So this cranial fossa is the part where your all memories or all the singing or memorizing or whatever may be, it is done here. So cerebellum is the site for memorizing the things. So you're watching or you're learning this anatomy, right? So this is stored in your short-term memory of cerebellum. Cerebellum. So this cerebellum is the main part that stores the memory of your everything what you see. If you walk or if you got any injuries or if you want to store anyone's memory, there was a site that stored every memory is the cerebrum, and it is further divided into two hemispheres, that is right and left cerebral hemisphere. So this has the four lobes in it. So this you may have learned in the skull, right? Frontal, parietal, occipital, right? These was the four parts of the cerebrum. So cerebrum's four parts are the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. So frontal is the front part. When you look into the mirror, you can see a flat surface in the between the hair and the eyebrow, right? There was the frontal lobe, and at just back of that there is a two small piece of skull that is connected each other, that is called parietal lobe. There are two parietal lobe in your brain, sorry, in your skull. And then is temporal, that is the ear. Where is your ear? That part is the temporal. So and the back of the temporal, that is where we have grow hairs, right? There will be long hairs, and some may can also see a hole at the back, right? So there what's the this occipital lobe was present. So you should remember this. This is very important to learn the skeletal system and also the brain parts. So it will be repeated in this full chapter. So just remember this. So there are four sections in this lobes. They are central focus, lateral sulcus, parietal, occipital suckers. So these suckers are the very important thing. These three suckers are very important thing. So these suckers are just a stitches, right? Just a fold in your brain, right? Mostly when you are seeing an intelligent may have more suckers in their brain, right? So when the suckers is more, they are more intelligent. This is because that's a part where the cerebrum is present. So if you want to be more intelligent, read more books. So listen to more of the things that is very helpful for your life. Like rather than reading, some may have don't have time to read, right? So just listen to some of the useful things for your life, like motivational speeches maybe, or some study materials. Just listen. So this will develop your seat of intelligence, that is a memorizing power. So first one is the central suckers, right? Central suckers, in the name itself you can know that that is the central one. So what is present in the center of your head? So I think everyone has guessed that is the parietal lobe, right? So this parietal lobe was separated from the frontal by the central suckers. So each and every lobe can be differentiated through the suckers only. So the central suckers helps to separate the frontal and parietal lobe, whereas lateral suckers will separate the frontal and the two-ear part. So say me, what is the part that is present in the 2 ears? So I think you may guess that is the temporal lobe. So what is the duty of temporal lobe? Or what is the thing the temporal bone consists of? So that is your ear. Here is present the temporal lobe, right? So this is what the main and important thing you should remember in it. So that we can just remember by this lateral suckers. Lateral means that is just sideways or just present at a side of some horizontal line. Lateral way we used to say, right? So just remember what is present in your lateral of your skull, that is temporal lobe, right? So that is what the lateral suckers is. And then is the parietal or occipital lobe suckers. So just in the name itself you can find out, right, that is between the parietal and occipital. So next we can see about the components of cerebrum. So the main components of cerebrum are cerebral cortex, cerebral medulla, the corpus callosum, the falx cerebri, the gyri. So cerebral cortex, so you will learn each and every part separately, but the cerebral cortex is very important to remember. You should learn this according to their order. If you miss the order, you cannot remember what that is the purpose of them. So first one is cerebral cortex. It is just the outer layer of the cerebrum, so which is made up of gray matter. And then cerebral medulla. So medulla, middle, just remember. So it is after the cerebral cortex. So after the cerebral cortex, this medulla is present. That is what the purpose of them, and it's made up of white matter. And then next to that is corpus callosum. So we all know the brain has the connection with the nerve, right? So this is what the main part that connects the brain with the nervous system. So it just consists of masses of nervous systems or nerve fiber in it. So that we call that corpus callosum is a very important thing for the basic functions. And then next one is the falx cerebri. So as we know, it is the between the two cerebral hemispheres of brain, right? So and it separates them so that it has a sticky nature. And also we know the durameter, right? In the durameter only we have learned this, right? Do you remember that? While we are learning durameter, we have learned this too. So this is what a very important thing. So durameter. Next one is the gyri. That is the folding presence of the cerebral cortex that increase the surface area of the cerebrum. So next is gyri has two types, that is fissure and suckle. This fissures is the just deep grooves that when you take a brain, there will be deep grooves in the brain, right? That is what the long term memory that is stored in your brain. and then short term memory will be shallow, that will be just gone in some days. So that is what cycle. So do you remember this? While learning this, just experience that, just think about or imagine about that and learn. So next we are going to learn about the cerebral cortex. So as I already told, this part is very important. If there is a question about what is cerebrum, you should explain these every parts. So I will say you how much you have to write. If it is for 5 mark or 10 mark, you should write this much. Okay. So first one is the cerebral cortex. So cerebral cortex is the total mass. So in this picture you can see, right, the total mass of the brain is the cerebral cortex. Totally 40% of the total weight is the cerebral cortex, and it is about 2 to 4 millimeter thick. So in this you can see small strictures and fractures and right. So in that, this total thickness you can see, right, that is 2 to 4 millimeter. So this is due to the gyri's presence in it. So it is just 3 to 4 times bigger than its surface area. So and then it consists of billions of nerve cells, so that it can store more memories. I have already told cerebrum is the main part which store all the information, right? So the main thing why it stores information is because of this nerve cells. So nerve cells will store the memories in it. As age pass, it just dies and there will be no memories of our olden days. So some old peoples will lost their memories, right? And they will just ask me, where's my mirror, where's my food, where I kept my tablets, all. This is because of this absence of nerve cells. After certain age, these nerve cells will not be produced. Only the nerve cells which is already there will be working, or else there will be no other memories there. So if you are talking to old people, they usually say old stories because they don't remember their present. They only remember their past because of this process. And then it is a mainly made up of gray matter. I have already told you in the general introduction of that. So this is what the basic functions of cerebral cortex. So let me revise from the cerebrum. So cerebrum is a seat of intelligence. So it is present in the anterior part of the fossa, cerebral fossa, and then it is the largest part in the whole brain, and then it has two hemisphere, that is right and left cerebral hemisphere, and has four lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes. And also it consists of three suckers, that is central suckers, lateral suckers, parietal, occipital suckers. And the main components of cerebrum is the cerebral cortex, cerebral medulla, corpus callosum, falx cerebri, and gyri. So now we have learned about cerebral cortex. So it is a major part of brain, and it consists of 2 to 4 millimeter in thick due to the presence of gyri, and it increased by 3 times the surface area, and it consists of more and more nerve cells, and it is mainly made up of gray matter. And then it's the functions of cerebral cortex. So mark it this is an important thing. So they may ask this individually too. So just remember, functions are very important. So first of all, functions of cerebral cortex is our conscious mind is located in the cerebral cortex. As I've already told, there are some nerve cells in the cerebral cortex, right? That helps in our memorizing power. So our conscious mind is present in the cerebral cortex. So as soon as when you are listening the class, right? So your memory usually will be absent. Now also maybe someone will be in absent mind even though they are watching this. So this is because your conscious mind is just skipping here and there due to due to their memory's power. So you always get bored or something else, your brain will start to do some interesting thing to make you to listen to that, but sometimes make you absence in the present. So that's what your absence of conscious mind. So this conscious mind was mainly maintained by cerebral cortex, and also it helps to aware of our surrounding. So while teacher is calling your absence of mind, suddenly you just get wake up, right? This is because of the cerebral cortex. And then it is associated with your sensory impulse like touching, feeling, sounds, and more on. It is just included in this cerebral cortex, and also it helps in your skeletal muscle contraction. So just remember, as you're conscious or someone is calling you, you're unconscious now, you're absent mind now, someone is calling you, suddenly you just wake up from that, and just if they told you to stand up, just stand up because of skeletal muscle contraction. This has happened in your cerebral cortex. So all consist in a one single part, that is cerebral cortex, right? And I already told you memorizing power because of nerve cells as present in the cerebral cortex. This is helping in our intelligence, and more question solving minds are present in the cerebral cortex. So this is what the basic thing that is present in the cerebral cortex. So next one, the functional areas of the cerebral cortex. This maybe they ask for 10 mark question or 5 mark question. It may depends on the each and every universities, but it's a very important thing that is repeatedly asked and always followed question of every question papers. So just listen to it. So functional area. So this brodmann areas are 52 areas present in your brain. That is the each and every circles and fissures consist of each and every cerebral cortex, right? So that is what this brodmann area. This is what just found by the brodmann, and this is basically having 52 brodmann areas. The general areas of the cerebral cortex are sensory area, motor area, and associatory area. So this is what present in your right cerebral hemisphere. So I have already told the cerebrum consists of two cerebral hemisphere, right? This sensory things are present in your right side. They just told some may to tell you, right, when someone get beaten in your right side, they just forget everything, or should protect your brain or something else, right? This is because you're memorizing and all the things are present at the right side of your brain, and left side of the brain is a temporary thing. So if you want to send any temporary impulse or something else, it is helping to that. And next is the basic functional areas that is present in it, that is sensory area, motor area, and associatory area. So next we can learn about the sensory area. So sensory area, just remember these four parts. As it is for 10 mark or for 5 mark or 10 mark, anything else, just write it as separate heading. Sensory area, just write the heading sensory area. Sensory area sense the sensory impulse. So what are the areas? Like that you just want to write it. So first one is the visual area, auditory area, gustatory area, and olfactory area. From the name itself you can understand, right? Visual helps in your vision, and then auditory helps in your hearing, and then gustatory smell or any taste is just gustatory. Olfactory is the smell. So this all present in your, I've already told, these all present in your cerebral cortex. So in the cerebral cortex, where all these parts are? First one is the vision. So where is your eye? So it is just below your frontal area, right? And then it is connected to the parietal area. So it is between the parietal and occipital. The nerves are connected between parietal and occipital. And then auditory area. We know auditory area is in the temporal lobe. So just write it in the temporal lobe. And then taste. Your tongue is present in the below of your uh, frontal area, right? So it is connected to your parietal area. These nerves are directly connected to your parietal lobes. And then olfactory, nose. So nose just directly to your ear, right? If something else fishy in your ear, your nose used to bleed, right? So if you are going in a vehicle or any long tour or something else, when you have more airs are entering into your here, your nose will get more cold because your nose is directly connected to the temporal lobe. Okay, so just remember this.